Hey everybody, just wanted to get going on this. It's Atlas Gold Series SD50. I have a pretty tall layout, and I decided to take a spin off to the floor, and that's why that coupler's broken. The trucks actually fell off as well. One of the truck caps fell off, which is fine, but we need to fix it. So I figured I'd make a video and show you all how to do this. That's a truck that fell off. The wire's completely separated from the wipers. As you can see, it's completely gone. So we're gonna get this going and see you soon. Alright, so first thing, you gotta take the caps off of the trucks, the plastic caps. These are a bit tedious. Take your time, especially end scale. Everything's small, so you want to be really be as gentle as you can. If you go too heavy, they'll definitely break. And there's small little tabs on the bottom of the trucks that really need to stay in shape without cracks or anything or deformation in order to keep the truck caps on. So there's a wiper that completely came off. And then right here, we're going to be doing a lot of cleaning. I have a few animals, so there's fur everywhere, as you can see. I just pulled that big glob of fur out. Pretty wild. I mean, the amount of fur and hair and also static grass that builds up in these little trucks is pretty impressive, and it definitely is will make contact issues, and you won't have any power going to the track or to the locomotive, and you'll be very upset. Why won't it run? This is a big reason why. And yeah, basically I'm just taking a Q-tip with some alcohol. Don't use acetone. Use like rubbing alcohol. 70% works good. And just basically cleaning up all the metal surfaces. You want to get on the the tips of the axles, or where the wheels are at the end, and that's where the contact point of the wiper is going to be. Um, that'll make it so that's actually where a lot of debris and stuff gets in. So you definitely want to clean all that out. And also you want to make sure that the wheels roll smooth. Make sure all the gears are working properly. Yeah, more cleaning. There's a lot of cleaning in this. Here we are cleaning the points of the wheels. As we're going to touch the wipers, which are then going to send power up to the frame, and that'll go to the decoder and then all the other places it needs to go. So yeah, you want to make sure those are clean. And a little bit of white grease. Don't overdo it. I probably use too much, but it is what it is. It'll come out track and I'll have to pick it up. It's not the first mess I've had to clean. Alright, so here's the wipers. You see the solder point there. I have to reconnect the wires that go onto that. And then yeah, and then that's the biggest repair on this that I have to do. I'm really surprised that's it, considering it fell about 5 feet up down to the floor. I think it even hit the wall and then bounced on the floor. It was sure rebellious that day. I think what happened is the one of the couplers was hanging too low because the body had just came out of the case, and I think the grade that I have on my layout, it clipped it and it sent it on its side, which in turn rolled it over to the bitter end. But thankfully for me, I got some tools that I can put things back together with, so it didn't get too far to heaven. So yep, more cleaning. And now we're going to prep the wires that are coming from the frame. So this is kind of a complicated thing to do here. You can have a grab iron, which you see in the back, that'll kind of hold on to the frame while you do this. I like to leave it free so it can move if it needs to. You just have to kind of experiment and see what works better for you, which is fine. And you got to be careful with these two because they can pop out of the small holes on the side of the frame. If that happens, not a big deal. Just make sure it gets back in there. You could file it down or squeeze it to the circular shape that it is. But once you do that, you can put it in. And what I do is I hold the solder gun there for quite a while and allow some solder to drip down into the bottom. Or not the bottom, but the small hole that's there. That way the wire is pretty rock solid. And that takes a minute. You really have to hold that soldering iron there to get it hot because that steel is pretty thick. So it's not like a small wire where it would conduct a lot of heat fast. It would take a little bit of time. So just be careful. Don't hit any plastic parts, and you should be okay. Yep, and then this is just getting the tips ready for solder. It's cleaning off all the wire. I don't have a what do you call them? The wire strippers for this small wire. That's I use a big bulky tool. It kind of gets in the way, so this is a more efficient way for me to do it. Just take your time. Be careful. Yep, and then we're gonna just attach the solder. I suggest to solder these pretty high on top of the rails, or the wipers, I should say. That way you have enough room for the wheel on the axle to rotate. Otherwise, the wheel is going to have friction with that solder because it protrudes from the inside. So you definitely want to make sure it's up a little bit higher on the center point. But there's enough wiggle room. You can get away with it, but just a heads up on that. Don't solder it too low to where the small hole is where the wheel sits, because then you'll really have problems. And if you do, just you know, disconnect it and just clean it up with the soldering iron. You can take the iron, clean it, and just wipe it off, start over. It's the best way. Yep, so that's repaired. That's ready to go now. Oh, this is what I was talking about. Yes, yeah, I'm wiping some of that solder off. That way it won't get in the way of the wheel. Okay, and then this is one of those things I was talking about. When one of those small holes there, I had put too much solder. So when you do that, you also want to make sure that that it's solid and not spinning, um, and also that the shell, which I'm doing here, goes back on. Because sometimes if you put too much solder there, the shell will not sit correctly, or go on at all for that matter, and the shell will be all sideways and it just won't look right. Unless you like to have a raised front end on the locomotive. I've never seen that before, but I'm sure someone with enough money and willpower could do it. And then you'd have a low rider raised in the front locomotive. But let's not do that for the time being. And then yeah, just here, just cleaning, prepping the other side, put back together. We're all pretty much on the downhill now. It's going to get this back together and then get it on the program track and see if everything's working right. And then yeah, cleaning the trucks. You just want to get inside, and it's pretty visible when you get these things off the caps that you can see where the you can see where the dirt and grime kind of hangs out and collects. It's also usually in those circles where the axles and wheels sit. Let's clean that off. Yep, and more cleaning. You could see all the hair. It's just outrageous. Hair, lint, dust. Like I said, static grass gets in there sometimes. Okay, so this thing's ready to go back in. And then the other thing I wanted to mention when you get these wipers kind of attached is you have to do this in a 3-in-1 sort of motion. Is that the caps, you want to make sure that the gears and the trucks are in the same place as the cap, because if you could turn it around, or you could have the truck turned around, but it will not fit. You also want to make sure the wheels just move a little bit when it's done. Other than that, that's about it. Hope to see you soon. I'm going to have another video up about programming this and getting it ready to run back on the layout.